Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to ask kind of an age-old question, and that is, how important is education or academic achievements to be a success in recruitment? Alex Saboli, no degree. What's
terrible academic record? So, I think it's a yes and no, especially if we look at that entry-level kind of jobs in recruitment. So if you, let's say you just finished university and you want to get a job in recruitment, in that case, I would say academic achievement would matter, If you went to a very prestigious school and you graduated with top grades and maybe you've done some extra curriculum activity, like being the captain of your sports team or done some of this kind of stuff, right? I think in that case, I think you will stand out and I think you will certainly have a little bit of an edge.
I think everybody is attracted to intelligence and somebody that has, a good academic record.
Yeah.
Certain managers are different in our company. I think the balance we find is that recruitment is a job where you have to do. So very few people are hiring like a PhD research level type of individual.
Yeah.
Very slow, meticulous. I think it's a doing job.
If you're overthinking it, I think that then you're probably not going to make many calls during the day, right?
On the flip side, there are some teams where they're more technical, and having like an academic understanding of the type of people you're dealing with actually can be an advantage, right? What kind of teams do you think?
Kind of any science technology related area, so life sciences, manufacturing, even like financial services, like we hired in the past, a lot of people in our life science team actually have some sort of pharmaceutical or medical device industry. They actually sold some of those products in the past. A lot of our consultants actually, they studied finance and accounting and finance at university.
Yeah, I think even just outside of like further education, I think if you think about IT, I think a lot of good IT recruiters also code, for example, and they've educated themselves on that side of it, on the technical skills which the candidates have.
Yeah.
I think that's something which
is attractive.
Yeah, that's really attractive. You can properly assess people.
Yeah.
You understand what they want. You can talk to them in their own language.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the key thing we look for is actually a willingness to learn. I think that's the most important thing. I really believe you can actually learn any area within 3 months.
Absolutely.
And have a sensible conversation with somebody, so maybe they don't know that you've only known this area for 3 months. And I think if you have that willingness to learn an area and the willingness to learn the kind of training which we offer to, that's the skill we're really looking for.
I mean, for us, it's actually like we are trying to produce and train and develop recruiters that are actually flexible, that can operate eventually in different areas. So, you can do that if you are first a good recruiter and then second an expert in your area. And the expertise, I think, as Matt said, can be built over time. What about PhDs and MBAs? What do you think is the value of people with the very specific academic achievements? How is that applicable to a recruitment?
Well, it can show A, intelligence, right?
Yeah.
And B, a willingness to grind to get a result. So there's some pros to it. I think the downside would be just been in education, that's your career for a long time. Are you a doer at that point would be my question. I think the key is, are you willing to learn, and are you willing to get your hands dirty quickly?
Would they demand a premium in the market?
No, because it's not relatable in any way to your effectiveness to do the job, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't translate into a higher salary.
Not in our industry.
No, not in our industry, right? So what will translate into a higher salary is your billing records, That's really, for us, the things that get us excited when we're meeting recruiters with experience is really that track record over a period of years, right?
Yep.
That's what gives you a premium, unfortunately, not your education. I think the only case I would say that maybe an MBA could add value to your career is at very, very senior level. If you're like a director, or even at our level, if you're like an entrepreneur or a country manager, having done a business MBA that kind of teaches you, how to run a business, different kind of shares, like very technical stuff. I think that's is a nice to have, especially if you're working for a very, very large company.
Yeah.
If you're running a two-man band, I'm not sure how that MBA, which kind of value that MBA would bring to you.